Hi everyone, my name is Blake Lensing, and the first takeaway that I got from this week is that brave spaces might not always feel comfortable, but we cannot worry about always feeling good because most situations where you grow don't necessarily feel good. And I noticed Ariel said this in the video, and this idea really stuck out to me because it's very easy to skip over something that you don't necessarily feel comfortable with, but in the end, you're not gaining anything or learning anything by doing so. And this is not just for social justice, this is something I actually use in my everyday life. I believe that trials are some of the best things that can happen to you because you can either let them define you or help you grow. My second takeaway that stood out to me was that the fact that I needed to be vulnerable in order to build authentic relationships and communicate effectively with these differences, and this is actually the V in vital. And this is something that's important to me because vulnerability can be a very scary thing, but we need to remember that that's what helps us grow. If we are vulnerable, we're able to be more open about certain things, which leads to us listening to a multitude of different perspectives, and in the end leads to a more complete idea of the world around us. The final takeaway that I found notable was the idea of transferring from a safe space to a brave space. Sounds scary, but all you really have to do is tweak the ground rules to challenge comfortability, and in return creates a more open space that leads to more knowledge. I have been told to agree to disagree my entire life, and so I thought this was a positive thing because it leads to no one getting hurt. After the reading, I now realize that it's a way to retreat from conflict, and in the end, I'm not learning anything. And then, so by changing the wording from to controversy with civility, it creates a space where people know it's okay to disagree with people and to be open, but we need to respect what others have to say. I've also been told my entire life, don't take things personally, and I have never understood that because it leads to people internalizing their emotions and leads to people never truly talking about how they truly feel about the situations. And by paraphrasing it to own your intention and your impact, it creates a space where people are thinking what they're saying before they actually say it, and leads to less people getting hurt or offended by what you have to say. By changing these ground rules just slightly, I think it creates a more positive environment, even if it may be uncomfortable at times. And in order to create a brave space in my future classroom, I'm going to first create positive relationships with all my students in order for them to trust me. And then this trust will hopefully make my students feel comfortable with talking about these sensitive topics. In order to do so, I need to be vulnerable as well and make sure that I am listening to all perspectives. And I'm showing a good example of what my students should do as well. I think I need to make it clear that it's still a safe space, even when there is discomfort, because this is a space where everyone is welcome to share their ideas without any judgment. And in order to do so, I need to set the ground rules that I have talked about earlier. I hope this would, in turn, create a positive environment for my students and myself. And I think it's important for me to be able to engage in a brave space by knowing that it's okay to not know a lot of things, and it's okay to not disagree as long as you're doing it in a respectful manner. And I think I need to do this by listening to everyone's entire perspective before responding back to them, because I know it's very easy to get defensive when someone disagrees with how you perceive something. But in the end, I think we all need to just remember that we didn't grow up in the same way, so we're going to have different opinions about certain topics. And a commitment for social justice is essential for teachers because as a teacher, you're going to likely have have students from all walks of life, and this is important for your students to understand and should be recognized in the classroom. I wish I would have been more aware of social justice. I'm from Montana, and I just haven't necessarily known too much. I've been pretty sheltered, but I really do wish I had known more. I took a genocide class, and it was probably the best thing I did, yet I still didn't get a full perspective of what is actually going on in the world around me. And I think talking about these issues, kids gain a better perspective of what's going on in the world around them and leads to all students feeling validated and important in the classroom. And that's what we want in the end. And so my goal is to pay more attention and learn something new every day, because I want to continue growing in my learning, and it's okay to not know everything as a teacher. I'm going to specifically do this by always listening to what my students have to say, as well as keeping up on my own research. And this is measurable because I am learning at least one thing new by the end of each and every day. I know I've attained this goal because I'm going to start writing it in my journal. I do this every night before I go to bed anyways, so I know it's realistic because it's just one more thing that I'll add. And this is a timely goal because I have to do it at the end of each and every day. So if I don't do it, it's not going to work.